Let's talk about the perfection monster. How many times have we not done something because we knew it wasn't going to be perfect? I remember when I was a kid, for a while I wanted to play soccer. I thought it'd be really, really cool. But I knew that I was going to suck when I started. I was definitely not going to be a perfect soccer player. And so I never signed up. There were a lot of things like that in my childhood that I didn't do because I had this identity as a top achiever, an A student, and the person who does things really well. And so I just didn't do things because I knew they weren't going to be great the first time, or I wasn't sure. And the truth is that the first time we do anything is our crappiest attempt, right? So I missed out on a lot. And I was talking with a client the other day, and she very honestly laid out that the reason she had not moved forward with getting feedback for something she was working on is because she was afraid it wasn't going to be perfect. In fact, she knew it wasn't perfect because she'd been working with this for a while and said, just do it. Let's just get it done. Perfect is the enemy of done, right? So I'm just going to do it, and I know it's going to be crappy. I'm going to be a C student deliberately. But because of that, she was afraid to put it out into the world. And so we looked at it, and so her belief was that it won't be perfect. And I said, well, if it's not perfect, what are people going to think? And she said, well, they're going to think that it's not worthwhile, that I didn't put time and energy into it, that it's not worth anything, that it's crap. And I said to her, all right, so let's just pretend that you do it perfectly. You put this video together perfectly. You bring it out to your audience. Your delivery is perfect. Everything about it is as perfect as it could possibly be. Could someone still think, man, she's a loser? She didn't put enough effort into it. It's not worthwhile. And she said, yeah. I said, so okay. So making it perfect is not solving that problem. There's nothing you can do about that part, right? What can you do? And sometimes just looking at that need for perfection and not just accepting it or pushing it away, but actually interacting with it can really help. So I want to give you 3 tips if you find yourself facing the perfection monster and knowing that it's stopping you from putting something out into the world that's really important to you. So the first thing to do, number 1, accept it. Like it or not, the perfection monster is in the room. The perfection monster is on our team. So we're better off accepting it and working together. I kind of think of it as, like, you ever run a one-legged race where you have to you have a partner, right? And each of you put a leg, you tie your legs together and put them in a sack, or you have to hop forward. And so it's not called a one-legged race. He says it anyway. You have to work together as a team, but you might have a very mismatched partner, right? So it's sort of like that. The perfection monster, like it or not, is probably going to be in the room with you every time you do anything in your entire life. So you might as well work together. So accept it, acknowledge it, look at it, call it out, admit it. Number 1. Number 2, question it. Just like I did with my client, notice the belief around that. I need this to be perfect or else what? What's going to happen? Is that really true? Can you control that? How does it make you feel if you believe that, right? Just question it a little bit. Just ask a few gentle questions. Don't try to change it. Just ask the questions. A lot of times that in itself will shift it. 3rd thing to do. How can you make it inevitable that you do it anyway? This is a good one, right? And this is also a tricky one because we will try to squirm out from under this sometimes any way that we can. So maybe it's making a commitment to someone who's going to hold you accountable. Maybe it is, for example, I know someone who just ran a marathon for the first time. What made that inevitable? She signed up for it. She signed up for it with her fiancé. She told a bunch of people she was going to do it. She had to do it. She did it. It wasn't easy. She knew it would not be easy. She knew she would want to give up, So she made it inevitable. So that's number 3. How can you make it inevitable that you execute anyway, even though it's not perfect, even though the perfection monster is going to be sitting on your shoulder saying, it's not good enough. They're going to think you're a loser. Don't put it out there. So try it. What is your need to be perfect keeping you from doing today? Run through these things. Accept it. Question it. Make it inevitable anyway. And then let me know. How does it go? I want to hear about it.